Hi, this is Kim of Reality Travel. This is Reality Travel Rome. And this is my last and final video that I'm doing of Rome. I want to share a few things with you in terms of how was my experience living there. First of all, I totally enjoyed Rome. And let me tell you why. When I got to Rome, I felt very warm. So, what does that mean? That means that I felt received and welcomed by pretty much everybody there in Rome. They were all friendly. They will go out of their way to help you, go out of their way to help you when they saw that you were trying to speak to them in their native tongue. That was so awesome. The place where I live, the landlords were awesome. Um, Rome is, of course, everyone says that Rome is very beautiful. Well, yeah, Rome is very beautiful, but I've been in many places that are very beautiful. I think Rome is just a special place that people like to go. Living there was quite interesting for me. The prices aren't expensive as you would really think that they are. You really just have to, let's see, budget. If you're accustomed to living on the budget, then you budget your money. Yes, there are some things that are a little bit more expensive than probably what you're accustomed to. But even my rent was much more inexpensive than I had prior to coming there. So you just have to have discipline, not go on a spending spree all around, and just spend your money wisely. You can afford to live there. I am actually thinking about going back. I will be going back in April and May, but I'll be in Sicily, still Italy. I had an awesome time. I met some awesome people. The bus service is really nice. What I like about the buses, and Google is awesome, and I tell everybody that everywhere I go. Google is so awesome. Google really knows knows these countries. When I need to go somewhere, I bring it up in Google, and Google not only gives me the route, gives me the bus number, but then when it gives me the route, it lists all the stops in the route. And that is so helpful. So you can follow along while you're on the bus and see your route. Because if you don't do that, you won't really know where you are because you won't know the language. So Google was really cool in doing that. There's a lot of different mini markets that are there, but you want to try to not focus on those very small highway robbery markets, because they will definitely overcharge you and you'll know the price. And those little markets are not ran by Italians. No, they're ran by people from other countries, ran by people from India, from Bangladesh, from a lot of other countries, and they just will rob you. And the only thing I've really bought out of those places is a bag of Ruffle potato chips. Going through Rome, you will be able to eat at any time. Pretty much. Some of the restaurants do close like they did in Malta. They'll close at a certain time and then they'll open up again later on. The restaurants, the food is very good. I didn't eat out a lot. I did a lot of grocery shopping. I'm a chef, so I prepare and cook my own foods. I am not a big pasta eater. So you will find a lot of pasta, pizza, pasta, throughout Rome. When I did eat pasta, I cooked my own pasta. It was cheaper, and to me, it was better for me. So let's see. It's only $1.50 to take the tram, as they call it. I live right next to the end of the line for bus 88 and tram 8. Now, what's really weird is that I bought bus tickets. You have to buy bus tickets, which is the same ticket for the tram, which is nothing but the train. So I noticed that like you get on the bus or the tram and you put your ticket in this little register type thing, but I noticed that no one did that. Maybe a few people will get on, but I guarantee you 99% of the people that got on just got on to ride. They didn't have tickets, they didn't have anything. And so when I saw that, I bought 4. I used 3. I had a total of 7. I used 3. And then when I started seeing that, I was like, wow. So I just started getting on and sitting down. I ended up cashing in 3 of my tickets that I had left. So I don't really know how they're paying for their transportation. It's really weird that absolutely, like I said, when I say 99%, I can actually say 99.9% of the people that get on the bus or the tram just get on and sit down. There is nothing. I kind of stayed on like what came in the buses that came in my area, aside from the end of the line being for bus 88 and tram 8. There were other buses like 972, 971. And so I stuck with those buses because they were on my route. I took a bus that was off my route one time, and I ended up riding around until the end of the line, until the bus driver asked me, he said, where are you going? And then he saw that I should have gotten out at a certain point. So I stuck to what I knew until I learned the streets and learned more of the language. And as I stated earlier, when they see that you're really trying to talk to them in their language, they're very appreciative, and they will say what you're trying to say in their language. They will correct your pronunciation, and they'll help you. They'll say it in English, and they'll say it in Italian, and I thought that was really nice. And like I said, they speak to you on the streets. I just thought it was really, really nice, and I felt really good thus far. Of all the countries that I've gone to, Rome was the best in terms of making me feel very welcome, very warm, really. I kind of hung out at the market. There's a lot going on at the market. There are so many people, and I liked it because of the language. The more I heard the language, the better I would be at recognizing some of the language that I've already learned, some of the Italiano that I've already learned. I had to learn the masculine, the feminine, and certain things that I learned initially was bancomat. Bancomat means ATM or cash station. I learned no mi sono perso, which means I'm lost. You kind of want to learn key words that will get you some help. They have the area where I was. They have they have a specific place where you're allowed to go and see doctors. It's like a hospital, but it's like can't think of, it'll come to me. And it's really cool. It was actually on my route. I never really got a chance to go, but I did go in this hospital that was down on my route, and I'm very curious to know how the hospital operate. You know, I'm a nurse, so I'm always curious about how other places run. So I went in. It's a pretty big hospital too. I went in, and there's so many buildings. I was like, okay, which building do I go in? So I ended up going in the place. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. In one place, and I went upstairs and I sat with some of the patients. Oh my gosh, I had a great time. I wanted to hear the conversations. I wanted to see how patients are seen. And it was this funny older lady that was there, and she was so funny. So I kind of talked to her using my translator, and we had a good time. Neurosurgery. That's where I was. Oh my gosh. And so her and this other lady, you know, I guess they had been waiting a long time, and she actually sat there and talked about people coming in, and she was cracking me up. So in her language, you know, I said that she was funny, and she was saying, you know, I would say things like no Italiano. She totally ignored me. So she would continue to talk in her language, and so I just laughed. We actually had a good time. She was a spunky, older Italian lady, and I really liked her. And she made me feel really good and really warm again, you know, just by talking to me, you know, total stranger. And she kind of liked my translator, because I would actually translate it, listen to how the words are spoken, and say it to her. But of course, when I was listening, she also heard it, and she really liked that. So that was really cool. And so the other place I was trying to think of was immigration. They have a immigration hospital, I call it, and it's their law. They have to see every foreign patient that comes in there. The hospitals won't see you unless you register. You have to be a registered resident. And, you know, I got all the information for that. I never ended up going, because I know that I'm going to be going back. And it's not that complicated getting it. I think in a lot of the countries, they want you to have to be registered as a resident there. Let's see, I was trying to find it. I probably already have it in my suitcase just to remember. Oh no, here it is. It's the Agenda delle Entrate. So it's the Codice Fiscale. Let me see if I can show you this, just in case you're there. Let's see. I bring this up, and hopefully you can see this. This is the place to go. Now, this place is in several areas, and it wasn't too far from where I lived in Rome. Let's see. So we talked about prices, grocery stores, markets, the big market. The big market, they sell pretty much everything in the big market, from shoes, clothes, fruit, meat, fish galore. And it's open, actually. It started opening more days as time went on. I noticed it was initially only open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but then it started opening up more because of the holidays. And I had two friends there too. They were seamsters. Yeah, and oh my gosh, they were just really nice, really friendly. I hung out with them because, like I said, I went to the market at least 2 to 3 days a week, because some days, if you look at some of the videos that I have on the market, some days it was like a sardine can. So many people, you really had to push your weight, or just stand there and scoot your feet. I'm not sure if I put that on YouTube, but I think I better put it on YouTube now because I'm talking about it. But I was just surrounded with the language. I was very excited. Because I'm so animate. And Italian is definitely going to be my second language. I am everywhere I go, I'm going to continue to study that language in addition to the other countries where I'm going, where I need to learn the language just to get through. So, but I am animate at learning Italian. It's not that complicated if you stick with it. So I just felt so wonderful. I felt like that big kid. Oh my gosh. So you would definitely enjoy Rome. I highly recommend you going to Rome. Okay. I highly recommend you finding a reasonable apartment. The area I was in was, I was told it was an elite area, even by some of the people that, of course, live in the area. Where I live was called Mons, forget, it was a resort. And if you look it up online, it's super expensive, but I didn't pay that much. So I stayed, I lived there, and you learn more, you see more, you understand more than someone going there to visit. People going there to visit just a lot of times just stay in, the area for the tourists. Yeah, I went to the tourist areas, took pictures, and people would say, oh, it's so clean there. But I showed them pictures of the residential area of Rome where you see lots and lots. The area is inundated with graffiti. I was shocked when I saw all of that because, oh my gosh, so much graffiti. But it's not gang related. It's just that the kids don't have anything better to do, apparently, because everywhere you look, it's graffiti. But you won't see graffiti in the center of Rome, no way. And you won't see graffiti around where I forgot what I'm trying to say, but it'll come back as it always does. So those really special areas, you won't see graffiti. But nevertheless, you will love Rome. People ask me, are there blacks in Rome? Yes, there's all cultures, all colors. I didn't detect one iota of racism. I did not detect any negativity like that. From a black woman perspective, I felt so much more comfortable there in Rome than I have even when I was in London. I mean, they treated me really well in London. I'm just saying, they treated me really well in Ireland, but it was just something about Rome, feeling the warmth that I really felt in Rome. And so Mana Cafe is a cafe that I frequent there. And they were so used to me. I frequent there every morning, and they knew exactly what I want. So when I would come in, they knew what I wanted, and they would have it ready or get it ready when I came in. And I really liked that. I hung out at places where, people just wanted me to come back and talk with them. I love Rome, and I guarantee you, when I go to Sicily, I am definitely going to apply for my visa, not my visa, but my residence registration, because that residence registration you will have to have. You really don't need it to, like, I saw a doctor without it, in the center of Rome, of course. That was $100. But you really do need it for everything. You need it for dental, although I got my teeth cleaned in Rome, and it was only $50. And like at home, a teeth cleaning would have been like, $85 to $125. So I try to keep up with my good health, renewing my blood pressure medication and things like that. So But ordinarily, you have to have that registration to see doctors, dentists, doctors, to get a job. It's so important. If you're going to spend any time there, it behooves you to get that registration. So when I go back to Italy, I will definitely go and get my residence registration. And who knows, I still have a lot more places to visit to live as an expat. But right now I can say I would definitely live there in Rome, definitely. I wouldn't be able to work like as a nurse. I'm a nurse, but I definitely have to know so much more. Actually, I would really have to reinvent the wheel. Number one, I would have to take their state boards. Number two, I would have to learn their drugs. Their drugs are totally different than the drugs in the U.S. So I would definitely have to reinvent the wheel. Now, there's some jobs that I can get, like a pastry chef. I can probably, maybe open up a small pastry shop. But oh my gosh, there are so many pastry shops everywhere you go. They have pastry. They have bars. Every single bar you go into has pastries. The only thing is that they're all the same. I don't like their donuts, but all those pastries are the same, so you want a variety. But, I'm blessed to be multi-talented. So if I wanted to work, I can get something part-time or just volunteer in a church, which I would love to do as well. So there's a lot of people that are there that are working, that don't have those registrations, and they're working off that number. And that number is like that registration number is about 26 numbers long, because the girl from she's from some country, I can't remember, but she worked in the dental office, and that's how she's working there. And she's been there for like 3 or 4 years, and she showed it to me. And so I was like, okay, I will make sure that I branch out and get that information. But yes, Rome is affordable. A lot of people think that it's very expensive. It might be a little bit more expensive than what you're accustomed to, but you have to have discipline. And like I said, you budget your money. You don't eat out all the time. Like I ate out one time at a really nice Italian, of course, restaurant. The food was awesome, and the food was plentiful. I had enough food to last me for 3 days, believe it or not, but I was so hungry I ate it all. Well, not all of it. But you can afford to live in Rome. And because of how I was treated there, that's number one on my list. But I got so many more countries to go and live as an expat. Let's see, the weather. The weather was pretty cool. Started getting down to about 50. One morning I woke up and was going out. It had to have been about 30, because I just had a jacket. I didn't have a coat or anything. Man, when I opened my door and stepped out, that wind was whoa. So guess what? I went and I bought me a winter coat, a down coat. I paid €5 for that coat. Yes, it was an awesome coat. I took a picture of it, and I had to put that coat on. But then a couple of more days after that, maybe a week, I'd say, temperatures start warming up again. So the temperature is not, but it was so funny when it's 40 and 50, 55, 60, sometimes degrees. They're not used to cold weather. They were all bundled up. They had on their boots, their hats, their scarves, their gloves. I was like, what? I'm used to below zero weather. So I was looking at her like, really? Oh, boy. So that was kind of funny for me. But that one day, no more than one day, I'd say I wore it for about a week. Then it rained. It rained a lot, not a lot. I mean, it rained maybe 3 or 4 days, but the rain didn't stop me. I still traveled a lot. Um, the Vatican, that's what I was trying to think of earlier. There's no graffiti around the Vatican and in the Vatican City. So, and like I said, you'll never hunger because pretty much everywhere you go, like I said, there's bars. Now, I say bars, but as I explained earlier, these bars are really cafes. However, the majority of them also have alcohol. Yes. So you go in, but they're not set up like bars. They're actually set up like cafes, because they have all the pastries and all the sandwiches, and the alcohol along the back of the wall, and of course everybody's got coffee. Yeah, cafe latte, everybody. And so I think I covered pretty much everything: the people, transportation, the kindness. There's a lot of, surprisingly, in the center of Rome, there's a lot of Filipino businesses that I noticed. I found out that the residents weren't allowed to drive in the center of Rome. I was like, what? Maybe not so much the residents, but the owners of the property, because my landlord was going shopping one day, and I said, hey, well, I'm going to the center of Rome. If you're going that way, drop me off. And she says, we're not allowed to go. You have to pay a certain amount of money. And I was like, that was kind of weird to me, because being in the center of Rome, oh my gosh, you got a gazillion cars driving through there. So I don't know. She was kind of eccentric anyway, but really nice. So that's Rome for you. Go for a visit. Stay. Like I said, you're not going to see a lot in a week, and not even 2 weeks. I mean, that's why I like to live as an expat, so I can tell a little bit more. Yeah. So yeah, Rome is definitely on the top of my list, but we'll see. That was Rome. I may end up in Italy. I'm excited about Sicily. Yes, I am. And I'm excited about all the other countries. Today, I was looking for some apartments in Japan, looking for some apartments in China. Yeah, because I think when I'm done with Europe, I think I'm going to do Asia as opposed to South America. So it's nice. And just in case you want to know, there's a lot of people be wanting to know about Black women expat, Black women travelers. There's a lot out there, but the majority of them are very young, 30s and unders. There may be some very few that are older, like 40 and over, So I wanted to share a different age bracket for people that are not looking to see what the younger girls. There's a lot of young women expats, lots of them, and they talk about it. But I just want to share my experiences, and Suitcase Traveler is one way that I can share my experiences. That's better. Well, okay, if you have any questions, just definitely type it in at the bottom. Give me thumbs up. And I'm hoping that I help you somehow on Rome. Okay, thank you. Bye.